Right. Good morning, everyone that is watching us here on JCTV Africa. Thank you so much for joining us on this wonderful program, where we give you updates on what is happening in and around Zimbabwe. And today we are in the Eastern Africa, or in a part of Africa. That's why we are called JCTV Africa, which means that we talk about issues that are also happening in our continent, which are very, very pertinent and important to us. Today, there is a very breaking news, and which is promising to escalate into something that we do not want to see, whereby there is an open confrontation between President Cyril Ramaphosa and President Paul Kagame of Rwanda. Now, I want to bring you down to this story, but before we go there, I want to look at one of the developments that has happened in the past 24 hours of the story of Prophet Walter Magaya. As you are aware that UNISA has issued a statement that I'm going to show you now, the statement to state that they do not recognize and they do not know of any doctorate that was conferred to Prophet Walter Magaya. Just to give you here, he says that UNISA refutes claims that Walter Magaya is a graduate or alumnus of the university. That is their statement there. And here at the end, the last paragraph, the university has never conferred any honorary doctorate on Mr. Magaya and strongly condemns this false claim. We believe that conduct of this nature damages and brings our brand into disrepute, and we reserve the right to take appropriate corrective action. Relevant authorities within the universities have therefore been requested to take the necessary legal action in this regard. Right, that is what is said here. But in response, Prophet Walter Magaya has responded by saying, was responding to this, not that one, I was responding here, and he said, dear, I am Kuda Maynard, that is Kuda Maynard Manyo is one who requested this, and Advocate Mahere at Crime Watch ZW, have you seek interview some of the attendees to understand their purpose at the event? The individuals in this picture are real people. Let's seek to understand what took place on that day. Right? Yeah. We need clarification on that. And obviously the people, the professors that you are seeing wearing those gowns, they should be explaining what is happening. But back to the story of today about what is happening in Rwanda. We want to go into that story now. I want us to play a video by President Paul Kagame speaking about what he has said to President Cyril Ramaphosa, and then I'll explain the situation in an elaborate manner. So please just watch this video that is coming on your screen now, whereby Paul Kagame is seemingly not so happy, right, about the situation. Just hear him speak.
For the last 2 days, on Monday and today this morning, I spoke with the president of South Africa, who sought me out to speak with me on this matter because of their involvement in Eastern Congo. And he's also there pretending to be playing a peacemaker role, and he has a force that has been fighting alongside FDLR and has been fighting the M23 on the instructions of Tshisekedi, because these are people who are not supposed to be in Congo, that these are from Rwanda, or the M23 are not Rwandans, please. These are Congolese, and one time he accepts it, Then another time, he says, no, part of it is yes, and then the other part is from Rwanda, and these are the. He keeps on, and how do we, leaders of our own countries, accept this to go on forever and just accept that we shall be manipulated by Tshisekedi or whoever is supporting him? And South Africa dares even issue threats about what is likely to happen after that, and so on and so forth. Of course, we will see what threats they are talking about. Maybe they should have done that exactly for which they have been issuing threats. They should have done it to clean up the mess in Eastern Congo, or to fight back those who have been trying to clean up the mess. So then you have the whole international community just confused. They talked about Rwanda, they talked about the Nairobi process. Honestly, even here, maybe you will help me understand what all this means. The processes became an end in themselves, and the people leading these processes became more important than the results of the processes. The Nairobi process became a Uhuru process. Then the Rwanda process, it's like you can't say anything that will displease President Lorenzo. Definitely, this does not help deal with such a serious matters as we are faced with today. That in the end, just because they can't be addressed, we have such a situation that, like we have now. And if anybody, and above all, I don't understand how Tshisekedi keeps thinking that he will.
All right. There is a very long statement there. We're going to put it on our WhatsApp channel. Now, let me bring into perspective what is happening here and how this situation is turning out to be a problem for Africa. For a long time, we have been hearing, for the past 2 years, we have been hearing that Paul Kagame is sponsoring the M23 rebels in Congo. And rightly so, people have got all the right to accuse Paul Kagame of the M23 because they feel that Paul Kagame has got interest in M23 because these are Tutsis that are in Eastern Congo. You remember Laurent Kunda in the 2008, right? He was there leading that group, those rebels there in Eastern Congo. But to bring into perspective, the people that are in Eastern Congo, they are like what has happened, maybe give, for example, in Zimbabwe and South Africa. In South Africa, we have vendor people that are in Limpopo that stretches from Musina, Toyando, and some parts of Polokwane, and other parts. These are vendor people. And they're a small nation, according to them, probably somewhere around 5, 6, 7 million people who are vendor speaking that are in Limpopo. And you have vendor people that are in Zimbabwe that stretches from Beit Bridge and some parts of Rutenga and that part, those parts. But mostly they are based close to Beit Bridge. There is actually vendor chiefs that we have in Zimbabwe, right? We even have Xhosa people that are in Zimbabwe. Now that's the similar situation that we have with the M23. These are Tutsis, but they are Congolese who are demarcated by the borders because these vendors, the vendor people, were part of the Roge state in the 16th century. right? The Venda people, they were part of the Roge state in the 16th century. That's why you find that Mapungubwe in South Africa, he has got the similar structures as the structures that are in Great Zimbabwe, which means these were one people. But because of colonial borders, people have now fallen, the Venda people, there are Venda people that have fallen in Zimbabwe, and there are Venda people that have fallen in South Africa. That is the situation. And the situation now is that the Tutsis that are in DRC have been stateless for the longest time. And DRC does not accept them as the people of DRC. They are taken as people of Rwanda. Yes, they speak Banyarwanda, but they are not Rwandese, they are Tutsis. That's why Paul Kagame is getting all the mudslinging and being labeled as the M23 is one who is sponsoring all this. So coming back to that similarity, you have the same similarity in Botswana and Zimbabwe. You have the Kalanga people that are in Botswana. You have the Kalanga people that are in Zimbabwe. You have the Botswana people that are, or Tswana people that are in South Africa that you find in Ziras, in Mahikeng, and you have got the Tswana people that are in Botswana. So you've got Kalanga people in Zimbabwe, you've got Kalanga people in Botswana. You've got Botswana people in South Africa, you've got Botswana people in Botswana. But that does not mean that these people are now, the Botswana people that are in South Africa are now from Botswana. They're just people who speak Setswana, and they probably might have traces or relatives that are in Botswana. But because of these colonial borders, this is what is happening. And if you go and read, I'm going to post this, a post that was done by Hopo Chingono, trying to explain this challenge that we have a problem of African leaders failing to resolve this crisis that is happening in DRC, because this is a simple issue of just these people that are in Eastern DRC being recognized as Congolese, and the government not fighting them, give them resources. We also had a similar problem in Kenya. There are people that went to Kenya in the 60s from Zimbabwe that are Shona speaking, but they had remained stateless until recently, not more than 5 years ago. They were stateless. They couldn't vote. They couldn't do anything. They couldn't go to school well. They are there. They went there as a church in the 60s before Zimbabwe was independent, and they stayed there. They couldn't come back, and they remained stateless for the longest time. Should the Kenyans, were they saying they should go back to Zimbabwe? Who are they going to come back and see? They are now resident in Kenya. You understand? So the impact of our colonial borders and the impact of what these colonial borders have made to us is very massive, and it is what has caused this escalation. So what is happening in Congo? It's an ethnic war. And this ethnic war is exacerbated by the presence of, one, the people. When there was a genocide in Rwanda in 1994, there are Hutus who then fled to Eastern Congo. And these Hutus have become Congolese. And this has made these people who are Tutsis that speak Banyarwanda, that are in Eastern DRC, to be infuriated, to say, okay, these are Hutus who were killing our brothers and sisters in Rwanda. Now they come to DRC, they are given safe haven, and they are now an army called FDLR, right? Because the goal is we want to push M23 back to Rwanda, which is very, very rather unfortunate. How can you push people that have been living in that area for more than 60, 70, 80 years? It's impossible. They will put up a fight. That's why the M23 are fighting. They're saying, why do you want to chase us here? Because we have been here for the longest time. You understand? So these are some of the things that are happening. That's why you see Paul Kagame is so infuriated, because he believes this is a simple issue whereby DRC just need to recognize the people that are of Tutsi origin that are in Eastern DRC and give them right, because right now those people in Eastern DRC, they were not allowed to vote. They couldn't vote, right? In the past elections, they couldn't vote. And how can you expect those people to abide by the rules of the of any constitution when, one, you are not recognizing them, number two, you are calling for reinforcement of forces for them to be killed and to be removed? They will put up a fight. It's as simple as that. And one of the things that also makes us to be like that as Africa, if you go and read a book by Professor Abiodun Alau called the resource case countries that are talks about the countries that are resourced are always in perpetual conflict. He was analyzing the situation that was happening in Nigeria. Excuse me. The situation that we have in DRC, it's also then exacerbated. It then attracts international parasites, if I can put them that way. These are parasites. These are opportunists or people that come because you cannot fathom how DRC has got so much poverty, has got so much conflict that is perpetual, that goes on and on. From the time that I was young, I knew that there was conflict in DRC. We saw our brothers going to DRC in the 1997, 98, 99, 2000. They were going there to DRC to fight there, right? And that has not ended for years. So what this is happening is that our continent is always in perpetual conflict. Why? Because DRC is one of the richest countries in the world in terms of resources. It's the richest country. It has got minerals that are in trillions of dollars. And with the issue of cobalt, with the issue of all these resources that are in DRC, that is what is causing a lot of problems, because this country is fully resourced. But what happens in those countries that are fully resourced? They are always in perpetual conflict. That's what Professor Abiodun Alau said. The countries that are resourced are always in perpetual conflict. And this is because there are external forces that are interested in a pie in DRC. And not so long ago, I saw Paul Kagame even labeling President Felix Tshisekedi that he's an idiot. And you would understand why Paul Kagame is so incensed. And I have seen people calling him a mercenary. He's being used by the West, and he's sponsoring the rebels in M23 and all of that. But he has been asking people to say, guys, let us have these people be recognized and be given citizenship. How long shall they linger with a life whereby they are not recognized by DRC? A country that is so fully resourced and being told that you don't belong here. That is the problem. But I also want to hear what Professor P.L. Lumumba said, to reiterate what I'm saying, what I'm talking about these people that are in Eastern DRC, just to elaborate further this problem, how it is affecting Africa and Africa's development. You get what I'm saying? So let us hear what Professor P.L. Lumumba said in this video about the story in DRC.
Population of the Hutu or Tutsis, sometimes referred to as the Banyamulenge, who are in Congo, so that they are Congolese. They are not Rwandese on the basis of the boundaries that we have. Nyerere, the former president of Tanzania, actually during the early days in 1970, when he was asked to mediate, said, when we talk about the Tutsi in Congo, they are not Rwandese. They are Congolese according to the boundaries that we inherited. And for that reason, it is incumbent upon the governments and administrations in Congo to treat them as Congolese. The fact that they have their kith and kin in Burundi and in Rwanda does not make them Rwandese or Burundians. And he made this example, he gave this example. For example, the Maasai in Kenya and the Maasai in Tanzania, they are Maasais, but they are those who by dint of the boundaries are now Kenyans and others Tanzanians. And that is yet another conflict. It is a conflict which has given birth to what is now known as the M23. The M23 are people of Tutsi origin who are Congolese. But they are now being told, no, you are not Congolese, you are Rwandese. And that is why you see the frequent accusations that the Rwandese government is supporting them, and the frequent denials by the Rwandese administration that they are not supporting them. The other conflict that has emerged in Congo is that Congo has become what one may say a rare ground for fighting groups from Uganda.
Right. That is Professor P.L. Lumumba, right? Giving his side. And you know, Professor P.L. Lumumba does not just bluff. He says things that are with facts. And if you go and watch the video where Julius Nyerere was talking about this, that there is need for people in Rwanda. By then it was still Zaire, in DRC, it was still called Zaire under Mobutu Sese Seko. And he was saying, look, these people need to be recognized as Congolese. You have this problem, you see. So now we have a problem that South Africa is now involved in this because they went there as a peacekeeping mission. And Paul Kagame is saying, you are not there as a peacekeeping mission because what are you keeping peace about? These people, they just need to be recognized as Congolese. If you do that, then these people, they can cohabit and be recognized as Congolese. Simple as that. You understand? So when you see Paul Kagame and the threat that he has issued to South Africa, and what is South Africa sometimes, maybe because they don't know the history, is now that South Africa, they are so incensed, they are so angry at this Paul Kagame over the issue that is happening in DRC, but they don't understand the concept of where Paul Kagame is coming from. It's coming from this point of Professor Pierre Lumumba to say that these people that you are calling M23 rebels, they are not rebels. These are citizens that have been long not been recognized for years, and they need to be recognized as Congolese, and don't displace them from their area. Give them what is belonging to them, because for them to be kept being ignored for years in a country that is full of resources and being told that you don't belong here, you belong somewhere else. How frustrating is that? It's very, very frustrating. And when these people fight, they are fighting to protect their own, to protect their families, to protect all that they have. Imagine not being a citizen in your own country, that you were born and you grew up. It's very frustrating. So I'm not encouraging any confrontation or encouraging any sort of exchange of what I personally encourage is we want to see peace prevailing in DRC. We want to see these people being given, being recognized. And the longer we wait for international community to come and help us, the longer we are away from recognizing ourselves as a force to reckon with as Africa, yet we are so endowed with so much resources. We have so much resources in our continent that the world envy us. But because of these confusion that we find in our African leaders, this is what has led us to where we are now. I know there is an extraordinary summit that is going to be held tomorrow in Zimbabwe, in Harare, being chaired by our very own President Idi Mnangagwa, where to discuss this issue. And my desire is to see whereby DRC drops this hostility towards their own people and recognize them as Congolese, not to relegate them to be people of Rwanda. Because by so doing, they are perpetuating this conflict and they are attracting external forces, causing instability in the region, causing instability in Africa, causing instability and retrogressiveness of Africa. We should be developing things, but we have a region or a portion of Africa that is always war and all of this. And you can't rule out the existence of external forces coming through because they see an opportunity, because there are resources that are there. And who knows who is looting what? And Africa is bleeding of resources that are being looted because of failing to do the simple thing of recognizing people of the same, of their own. And that's why you realize that the dream of Kwame Nkrumah of seeing a united Africa, we shouldn't be having this. We shouldn't be having such. Because imagine if you had one president, they would be having such a problem. We would be having a smooth running Africa, whereby we have one Africa that can not be engaged in these cat and mouse fights of saying who belongs to where, and a whole lot of things. But because our leadership is inept and it is very, very, they are more incensed about putting money in their pockets and not putting development and putting Africa first and putting the people of Africa first and making sure that we maximize the resources that we have. Because in the end of the day, as Africa, we are miles, we are years behind the likes of like Russia. If you look at Russia, they've been in the development of their military arsenal for years and they've developed. We are behind. We have not developed anything that we can export to Africa. We're just exporting raw materials. And that is what we need to stop. And until we stop engaging in these small fights, just like look at this now that you go to Eastern, in Kaduna, in Nigeria, where you find Boko Haram is fighting there. What are they fighting for? There are resources that they want. And these people, they want to call that place a caliphate. What are they fighting for? What are they fighting for? These fights, they are not necessary because they delay the liberation, the full liberation of Africa. And that, to me, it is a travesty to Africa. But tell me what you think about this whole situation. And you're also welcome to support us and donate to this channel so that we can continue doing the work that we're doing. And I will do another video maybe in the afternoon where we'll be looking at what is happening in Africa. And I would love you to follow some of the journalists that are in DRC and support them in the work that they're doing in DRC. I'll play the video on the afternoon, or I'll share it on our channel. But please support this channel. Let us continue to give updates on what is happening and engage in a conversation on what is happening in Africa, because seriously, Africa cannot move forward until we drop this individualistic approach to Africa. But I am so infuriated by what is happening. We have developed our own car that runs without petrol. We should run with that project. We spoke about yesterday. Yes, but what I'm talking about is that car that you're talking about that I did a video yesterday on a morning update. It has been developed in China. It has been developed in China. Though the concept is coming from Zimbabwe, the problem that we have is in Zimbabwe, we have everything that we need to create an industry that can start to make cars from scratch and develop everything. But we wait for our colonizers to come in and rescue us. This is very, very unfortunate. And until we move away from this victim-based mentality, we are not going to develop Africa. But anyway, tell me what you think about the developments that is happening. I know from the South African side, they are saying, Asbangene, let's go after the M23, let's eliminate them. But do you understand how it feels if you are a Xhosa or if you're a vendor, and then the Pretoria will be telling you that let's eliminate the Tsongas that are in Malamulele. Let's eliminate them. Let them go back to Mozambique. let them go to Mozambique. How does it make you feel? If you are a Tsonga that is living in Malamulele, that you are living in Guyana, and you are being told that you are not South African, you are Mozambican, what does that make you feel? Imagine if vendors that are in Bavenda, people that are in Limpopo, being told, the Bavenda people that are in Musina being told that you don't belong to South Africa, you are Zimbabweans. And they send the army to go and bomb you. And they even bring army from maybe from Lesotho or from Eswatini to say, come, let's help us to get rid of these people. It is very unfortunate, you know. I'm seeing here John Mukore. The problem you don't understand is the ego in some people, in ego mind of some people in Africa who feel they are the only to lead while others to be servants. Very, 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 very important there point that is being made by Mr. Maelo. Yeah. Anyway, I would want to say thank you to everyone that has joined us. I've been doing the ranting, but I'm very passionate about these stories and about my African continent, because I, as a Pan-African, I believe that we have what it takes, and in the years that we are in, to change Africa, to make Africa create a jewel. And if we have a scenario whereby we can recognize the people of the Tutsi people that are in DRC, then the problem is solved. Let us have a scenario whereby these people, yes, they are struggling, but they are recognized as DRC people. That's all we want. And then this whole issue will be over. Anyway, we are seeing that there are some people that are saying, let's send the firepower and annihilate the M23. Think before you talk about that. Think from where you're coming from, and being like, if you look at South Africa, there is no tribe that you don't find outside South Africa that is in South Africa. If you talk of Afrikaners, there are Afrikaners that are in Namibia. If you talk of Botswana, there are Botswana that are in Botswana. If you talk of Sotho people, you have Sotho people that are in Lesotho. If you talk of Swati people, you've got Swati people that are in Eswatini. If you talk of Zulu people, we've got Zulu people that are in Zimbabwe. If you talk of Xhosa people, we've got Xhosa people that are in Zimbabwe. If you talk of Tsonga people or Changan, you've got Changan people that are in Zimbabwe, right? So if we talk of South Africa, if you talk of Khoi, you've got the Khoi people that are in Zimbabwe, right? All these, you know, and our nations, especially in SADC region, you find that you've got Nyanja people that are in Zimbabwe, you've got Nyanja people that are in Zambia, you've got Nyanja people that are in Malawi, you've got Chewa people that are in Zimbabwe, you've got Chewa people that are in Zambia, you've got Chewa people that are in Malawi. You've got Shona people that are in Mozambique, you've got Shona people that are in Zambia, you've got Shona people that are in Botswana, you've got Shona people that are in Zimbabwe. So before we criticize, before we put our knives out for Mr. Paul Kagame, let us look at ourselves in the mirror and say, if this was to happen to our tribe or to our people, to the Ndebele people that are in Zimbabwe, to be said, go to South Africa, to Mpumalanga, that's where you belong. How was that going to make them feel? Anyway, that is all that we have for you today. Thank you so much. And please, if you have got any comments and thoughts about this subject, please hit us up on our WhatsApp and also follow us on JCTV Africa, that is on Twitter. You'll find us there. Send us your WhatsApp voice note or your contribution to this channel, and also support the channel financially by giving to this number. Send us, and you can also purchase, you see these JCTV Africa t-shirts, you can purchase them for $30 on this platform, so that you can help us that is the price for you to help us grow the channel. We need to go into Africa and be telling these stories, hearing from the people that are there on the ground and telling these stories. But if we don't have resources, we won't be able to do that. So your help and support is very, very crucial to us. That being said, I want to say thank you to everyone that participated and that came, and you were part of the conversation. See you on the next video, and it's bye for now.